And so that's another interesting option. And especially if you have like a team where you want to share like your brand bot custom GPTs with your team members, then that's an awesome and easy way to do that. Yeah.
Welcome to the Side Hustler Podcast, the podcast for women building their dreams while balancing work, family, and all the things. I'm your host, Carly LeBlanc, a wife, mom, marketer, and your side hustling friend here to teach you how to grow a brand that works for you and not the other way around. Whether you're a side hustling pro or just starting out, this is your safe place for real talk, actionable strategies, and the encouragement you need to keep going. We're here to help you make progress and not perfection. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's build your dream one step at a time. Hello, and welcome back to the Side Hustler Podcast. I am your host, Carly LeBlanc, and I am so excited to have you here on the Side Hustler Podcast today because we are talking about one of my favorite things in the whole wide world, and that is AI. Today's guest is the brilliant mind behind Authentic AI, Kinsey Soderberg, a powerhouse when it comes to helping down-to-earth entrepreneurs use AI tools without losing their voice or values in the process. Now, she has built a brand, a podcast, and a movement around one core idea. AI should serve you and not the other way around. And so in this episode, we're going to be talking all things about Kinsey's genius brand blueprint method, a powerful system that will help you train ChatGPT to sound just like you, understand your offers, and write content that feels on brand every single time. We also will get into how this blueprint can turn ChatGPT into your digital mini-me, how women can overcome the guilt around working smarter, and how AI is helping Kinsey and now me reclaim hours of time every week without sacrificing excellence. Kinsey is dropping so many gems, from getting ChatGPT to stop using the rocket emoji, to pricing mindset shifts, to using AI to write your show notes, emails, captions, and even filling out forms without burnout. It's so refreshing, practical, and honestly a reminder that as women entrepreneurs, we deserve tools that make our lives easier. So in this episode, you're going to learn what the brand blueprint is and how to use it to train ChatGPT on your brand, how AI can save you 15 plus hours a week without sacrificing your authenticity, common mistakes people make when using ChatGPT, how to ditch burnout by automating your most tedious tasks, and why more women need to be leading the charge in the AI space. So if that sounds like your jam, then you're going to want to grab your notebook because we are getting into it. Let's get started. Before we dive into today's episode, I have something special for all of my side hustlers out there. Are you building a business while working a 9-to-5 and you're tired of wasting time on marketing strategies that don't actually move the needle? Then you're going to want to get plugged into my weekly newsletter. Every single week, I'm giving you the real behind the scenes scoop on what's actually working in marketing and business. No fluff, no gatekeeping, just real strategies, insights I'm testing in my own business, and practical tips that you can apply right away. If you want to work smarter and not harder and finally start seeing momentum, then head over to cdcreativecoagency.com/newsletter and get locked in. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Well, hello, Kinsey, and welcome to the Side Hustler Podcast.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, and I'm so excited to have you here. I just wanted everyone to just know that me and Kinsey, we connected on Threads, and I am so excited that I connected with you because even when we had our coffee chat, like we were just so vibey and everything was just so aligned. So I'm so excited to have you here for the podcast. We are going to be talking all things AI because Kinsey is the AI complete guru. Okay. So we're super excited to have you. And so we can go ahead and get started. I want you to take us back to when you first started your journey. Talk about, what made you or what inspired you to start doing your business with AI and integrating AI into businesses and serving women to learn how to use AI.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I love sharing this story because I feel like it's pretty relatable for so many people.
Yes.
So I have been an entrepreneur for like 6 years now, growing my original brand, Feel Good Social. And Feel Good Social is all about showing up online for your brand in a way that feels good to you, of course, in an aligned way, making your business work for you, not the other way around, all those things. So that's always kind of the values I've held as an entrepreneur and what I teach and what I share and all that jazz. And then about 2 years ago now, which is kind of crazy, I first started hearing about the AI buzz in the online
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur space, right? And everyone was talking about ChatGPT and how cool it was. And guys, I'll be honest with you, my first reaction when I first heard about AI tools was I was a total curmudgeon about it, right? I
Yes.
was like grumpy. Like I always like to bring up like Dennis the Menace's like grumpy neighbor, Mr. Wilson, because I was like shaking my fist at like the neighbor's fence, being like, "Isn't the internet fake enough as it is? What's this gonna do to our critical thinking or creativity? Like, are
Yeah.
robots gonna take our jobs or take over the world? Like, all of those AI scaries totally ran
Yeah.
through my brain, and I was like not into AI. And then I kind of was thinking about it, and I was on a long drive and had one of those long drive epiphanies where I realized that the reason I wasn't into AI tools is because I was afraid of the change it would bring to our culture, to our businesses, to our
Mm-hmm.
future societies,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the best thing I could do instead of like getting grumpy and being against AI was turn toward it and get curious about how
Yeah.
can we make these tools work for us in a way that aligns with us, right? In our business. And also, how can we shape the future of these tools? Because these tools are
Mm-hmm.
here and we might as well get curious, get involved in conversations and help to shape where these things are headed, right? So
Yeah.
that's when I started my sister brand, Authentic AI. And that's now what I teach, and the approach that I take to AI tools is I call it a human first approach. It's really like
Mm-hmm.
bringing yourself to the forefront and allowing these brands to amplify who you are instead of turning your brand into a robot.
Yeah. That's so good. That's so good because I think a lot of people, whenever you first, start to embrace AI, like you get so like excited about all the things AI can do. But
Mhm.
then like when you start actually using it to like draft copy and to, come up with content, it's like, it sounds like a robot. And so I really love how you talk about the human first approach because it's like use AI for sure for your business, but don't just rely solely on what AI gives you because it is a robot, And so with that, I kind of want to I want to get into like, how can we start to be more authentic with AI? Like I said, a lot of people are starting to leverage it and starting to embrace it because it does save us time and it does take all of the heavy lifting that we don't necessarily have to do in
Mhm.
our businesses, especially when you have a business and a job. And so I want to talk about how can we start, channeling our AI bots and all these, systems to really sound like us, to be authentic to who we are and to who our brand serves.
Yes. Oh, and this is one of my favorite topics to geek out about. So stick with me, guys. But so okay, when it comes to using AI authentically, the thing that I always like to remind people is that human first approach, always coming to these AI tools with that approach. And what that means is basically instead of thinking that AI is going to do all the thinking for you, no, you bring your own thoughts, opinions, ideas, belief, brand to these tools, tell
Mm-hmm.
it, train it on your brand and your thoughts and all those things. And then you allow the tool to help you organize, clarify, expand,
Mm-hmm.
support your own original thought and ideas. And truly,
Mm-hmm.
like, not only does that help to maintain your brand's authenticity, but that's also how you save the most time with these tools and
Yeah.
get the responses you want from them from the get
Yep.
go. Because we've all been there where we're like going back and forth with our AI assistant being like, ugh, like you wrote a caption for me. It doesn't sound like me. Try to make it more friendly. Oh no, now you've gone overboard on the friendly zone. Let's like reel it back back. Like, it's frustrating to go back and forth, right? So I always tell people, remember, tell your AI assistant your original thoughts first. And that like is so helpful. And then the other thing is training your AI assistant on your brand, which I use the brand blueprint method, which I know you want to talk about too.
Yes. No, that's so good. Have you ever found yourself stuck on what to post or struggling to stay consistent on social media? I've been there, and that's exactly why I created this free guide called 30 Days of Done For You Social Media Prompts for Personal Brands. This guide is loaded with prompts to get your gears turning so you can have a gallery of content to create for your brand and never stress about what to post again. And you can grab it right now at cdcreativecoagency.com/content and start creating content that connects without the stress. So good, because even like when I have, some kind of idea that, just came to mind, like you have to set the tone first. It's like, don't just go in like just guns blazing, like set the tone. Okay, this is what just came to my mind. I'm really thinking about trying this out, but I don't know really how that's going to work out. And, just really talk to it like how you think, right? And I say, even when and I know we're going to get into this, but even when you put those ideas in there, it's doing one or two things. Like it's one, trying to identify what you need help with, but also two, it's starting to realize like how you actually talk and speak and what type of words you use. And, the whole cadence of your authentic way of communicating your message and your thoughts. And so when it's doing that, it's also going to be able to program how it responds. So with that, I want to talk about the brand blueprint method. What exactly is it? And how can entrepreneurs use this to train ChatGPT to make it sound like them, to make sure that their brand message is authentic? Break it down for us in ways that we can really understand what it is.
Yes. Okay. I love talking about this because it truly makes training ChatGPT or any similar AI tool on your brand like so easy and repeatable, right? So the brand blueprint is what I call the ultimate AI training tool or doc for ChatGPT, but it's basically what we do is outline the 5 core strategies of your brand into one single Google document. And this is a Google Doc that you can then one-click file upload to any new chat window that you start in ChatGPT or any similar tool. Claude has a file upload too. And ChatGPT will be able to read your brand blueprint in like 10 seconds and then automatically know the 5 core strategies of your brand and like hit the ground running, doing all the things it needs to do for your business. And truly, like, this makes your ChatGPT responses so much better than even if you were to just like tell ChatGPT about your brand again and again, right? Because the 5 core strategies I like to outline. And again, I outline my brand blueprint. I create the document with the help of ChatGPT. Actually, I have like prompts to get ChatGPT to help me because I don't want to scare you guys, but my brand blueprint is like 80 pages long, but like it's like a book, but it like was easy to create. I think I created mine in like 3 hours. I hear from students that it usually takes them about 4 to 5 hours to create a brand blueprint with ChatGPT's help. But like, man, like think about like a book basically for your brand that like ChatGPT can understand immediately. Like it turns ChatGPT in like into your digital mini-me. It's pretty crazy.
I love that.
Yeah. So the 5 core strategies that I like to outline are your brand's core identity. This is your mission, vision, values, opinions, belief, everything that makes your brand who it is. Then we have your ideal customers, of course, because we need to know who you're speaking to. So that's going deeper than just the demographics or the psychographics. It's, of course, the pain points, the desires, who your brand is to your ideal customer, your relationship, because that's important to understand too. The third strategy is, of course, your brand voice and writing style, because that's how you get ChatGPT to really sound like you and write content or copy like you. And I nerd out about this so much because a lot of times people will be like, oh, write in a friendly tone of voice to ChatGPT. But like what they don't realize is that there is so much nuance to all of these descriptive words for our brand voices, right? Like friendly has a spectrum from like bubbly to like kind-hearted, you know, or like all the different things. So really getting ChatGPT to pinpoint that. And then also you can tell it things like your formatting style, humor style, emoji usage, like all that stuff goes into your brand's personality. And it's so nerdy, but it's like so awesome when ChatGPT understands that stuff, you know?
Yeah, well, yeah, because even like I get the rocket. I don't know why it always puts the rocket emoji, and I'm like, I never use the rocket emoji. Like,
it loves that rocket emoji, girl. Like it does, and it is so funny. Okay, funny side tangent about the rocket emoji because yeah, for some reason ChatGPT loves it. Although I will say I haven't seen it as much in the past few days, and I heard the recent update told it to not use as many emojis. So like that's something. But like, okay, I've had my ChatGPT AI assistant like troll me with the rocket emoji, which is hilarious because I have forbidden the rocket emoji and it forgets, you know, so it'll like add it back in there. And then I'll go, ChatGPT, do not use the rocket emoji. We never use the rocket emoji. And then like later on in the conversation, it'll like write something for me and it'll throw rocket emoji in there. And then at the end, it'll be like, just kidding. We don't use this. I like, stop trolling me, ChatGPT. What are you doing?
I love that. I love it.
Oh man, but like you guys, like rocket emoji aside, you can train your AI assistant to understand you, think like you, write like you. And then with the brand blueprint, and sometimes I create separate blueprints for these last two strategies, but I also like to add in my offer suite and like really describe for ChatGPT everything from my free resources up through my paid offers, because that helps ChatGPT to strategize for me in so many different ways, whether it's like creating a campaign for my business or if it's like write a social media caption that naturally leads to a call to action for this offer. Like, and it understands that so easily. And then I also like to add in my messaging because that's another really important thing for your AI assistant to be able to understand about your brand as a whole. What are the topics that you like to talk about and what are your unique points of views on topics? And like, what are the things that you encourage your audience to do? What's your take on things? Like that sort of stuff is cool to add into a brand blueprint or an offer blueprint because it allows ChatGPT to like really think in like that holistic way and like sprinkle stuff into all of your messaging and content that you're getting help with. You know what I mean?
I love that. I love that. Now, that just sparked two questions that I have. So, my first question is your brand blueprint, right? Is this like a Google Doc that you keep handy every time you use ChatGPT and then you upload it every single time? Or is this just like, okay, this is my brand blueprint that I always just reference, but I'm like saving my brand blueprint, in the ChatGPT memory, so I don't have to always upload it every single time?
Yes. Okay. I love this question. Okay. There's a few different things you can do with a brand blueprint, which is why I like it because firstly, it's a Google Doc, and you can actually ChatGPT integrates with your Google Drive really easily. So you don't even have to upload, download. You can just like search for it in your Google Drive real quick and it's easy. And you can update it easily in that way too then, right?
Super cool.
Yeah. So there's that. But like when it comes to using the brand blueprint, there's a few different things. In the brand blueprint course, as we're outlining the core strategy, I actually have like different prompts where I'm like, add this to your custom instructions. So in ChatGPT, there's a few different like built-in memory systems. The first one is called custom instructions or customize your GPT in the settings section.
Yeah.
And it's like two different boxes where you can like give ChatGPT information about how you want it to respond, all that different stuff. So that's great to go ahead and like add some things into it about your brand and your personality. However, the custom instructions has like a character limit in the settings section, which my thing is 80 pages. Like it's not all going to fit in there. So put that in there. Another built-in memory system within ChatGPT is called memory, right? Where ChatGPT kind of picks up on things in your conversation and like cool. But
Yeah.
and that works really well, actually. I've been playing around with that a lot, and it does help for ChatGPT to pick up on things through the conversation more easily. But like, especially as you're first starting to use memory, like it doesn't work very well, right? Like,
Yeah.
so that's why the brand blueprint's nice. So when you start using the brand blueprint, every time you start a new chat window that has to do with your brand, I say upload your brand blueprint as the very first thing and say, please review my brand blueprint. And so that you can help me do whatever the heck the task is that you want it to do, right? But as you keep using it, and especially with that memory feature, it does get better and better. So you don't have to keep uploading it like to remind it all the time as much or anything like that. So that's kind of nice. But the other fun thing you can do with a brand blueprint is actually create a custom GPT with your brand blueprint. So a custom GPT is if you have the paid version of ChatGPT, you can create your own little chat brand bot, basically, that's like already trained on your brand blueprint as its knowledge base, they're called. And so that's another interesting option. And especially if you have like a team where you want to share like your brand bot custom GPTs with your team members, then that's an awesome and easy way to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all already know I'm all about working smarter and not harder, especially when it comes to marketing your brand. And if you're still relying only on social media to reach your audience, we need to fix that immediately. Social media is cute, but let's be real. The algorithm is unpredictable and your content is probably only reaching a small percentage of your followers. That's why I swear by email marketing, because when I send an email, I know 100% of my subscribers are getting my messages. And the best part, Flowdesk makes it ridiculously easy. You can send beautiful on-brand emails, automate your sequences, and even create landing pages without needing to be tech savvy. And because you're listening, I got you a deal. Use my code SIDEHUSTLE at checkout and you'll get 50% off your Flowdesk subscription for the next 12 months. So if you're ready to stop relying on algorithms and start building a email list that actually converts, try Flowdesk for free. And don't forget to use the code SIDEHUSTLE at checkout for that exclusive 50% off. No, I love that you mentioned that, because I've talked to a lot of people that, specialize in ChatGPT and AI, and they're like, no, like you're always, whenever you start a new chat, like, make sure that you're inserting this prompt. And I understand why, because even like in the past where I stumbled across like finding out about, the chat memory, because one day it was like, your memory's full. And I'm like, what memory are you even talking about? And so I had to go through and like, it had all of these things that I had remembered over like the course of a year. And I realized, like, even when I'm asking it questions, like it's referring to things that are old, and I'm like, that's outdated. Like, I don't do that anymore, or I'm not this person anymore, or I serve these, this specific group now. And so I was always like trying to figure out, like, am I using this right? Like, I know it has this memory feature, but it's like, if things are outdated or if things have changed or if things have updated, it's always referring back to the memory as like its thing where it's pulling the knowledge, rather than me just starting off the chat, with my prompt. Like, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is who I serve. This is what I offer, all of the things. So that makes sense.
Yeah. And that's why I do like the brand blueprint, because I'm like, okay, this is like the knowledge base. And if you just like give it to your new chat window and you're like, review this, it has it like the updated information, like fresh in its mind. But yeah, sometimes I am totally lazy, and like the memory feature does work pretty well. If you just like start off a chat and I'm like, oh, you remember that ChatGPT? Great. But like you do have to remind it of things sometimes. You do have to update. Like, for example, I just had to do that with ChatGPT. I'm like, it was one of those moments, because I was like in this chat window and we were going back and forth. We were, riffing, and it was feeling all great. And then it like mentioned this like outdated like quiz that I used to have, which to ChatGPT's credit, I don't think I ever told it that I'm like not promoting that quiz anymore. But like I had to be like, oh, ChatGPT, we're outdated here. Like, and you could actually tell it within a chat window, like, please update the memory and like remove this because I'm not using it anymore. And it will, and it probably won't mention it again. But ChatGPT has a mind of its own sometimes.
Yeah. No, that just like sparked in my head. I'm like, maybe I should go and like, do an audit of my ChatGPT memory to make sure that, whatever is in there, it's actually like updated, because obviously like that will allow you to be more efficient with how you use it,
Yeah. It depends on probably how you'd want to go about it. I have kind of, with the memory feature specifically, I kind of am like lenient on it, and I'm like, things will pop up as they pop up, and I'm definitely always, it kind of goes back to that authentic human first approach to AI tools, like always being critical of, like, not critical, but like critical thinking of what it's giving to me, right? So like, the other day, when that quiz thing popped up, like it popped up naturally, and I was just like, oh, never mind, ChatGPT, like don't do that. Like, what other thing can we point to? And also, please erase that from my memory. And like it was really easy. I felt like that was kind of a little bit easier than maybe going in and just updating the memory manually or something.
That makes sense. Like as it comes and goes. I love that. I want to talk about like some of the ways that we may be like not using ChatGPT fully, or even like mistakes that you see people commonly make when it comes to AI. Like, what do you feel like are some of the ways that we should be utilizing ChatGPT in our businesses that we're not fully like using and maximizing to its fullest potential?
Oh, I mean, man, here's what I love about it, right? ChatGPT has like so much, like so many capabilities. It can do so much for us. And like, even every day I hear of a new way someone's using ChatGPT for something, I'm like, wait, what? It can do that, right? And because we all have such different businesses and workflows and things that we need help with, the best thing I like to encourage people to do, actually, this is how I encourage people to start integrating AI into their like daily workflows and stuff, right? So, and it helps you kind of start to use AI tools without going like overboard or feeling like overwhelmed or like, I don't know, even there's too many possibilities, right? I like to think about the two different types of tasks that we have in our daily workflows of our business, right? The first is like those established workflows and systems that you already have created for like your regular tasks, like a podcasting workflow for me, or content creation workflow, or you maybe have a client workflow or something like that. So take a look at those things that you already have established and look at the SOPs in a way, and be like, in what steps of this workflow could I maybe use an AI tool to speed up the process, to overcome a hurdle, to like help me with this this thing that I really don't hate to do, So for me, for my podcast workflow, it was always the show notes. Like I'd get done editing the episode, and at the end I'm like, dude, my brain is fried. I don't want to write it. Like, what the heck did we even just talk about in that episode? And so, throwing the transcript into ChatGPT, and I have a ChatGPT window that's trained on my specific way that I write my show notes too, so that I don't have to tell it again or edit anything really, because I'm like, use these stars instead of the bullet points, start with a question. Like, it knows how I write my show notes. So I throw the transcript in ChatGPT, it writes my show notes, easy peasy. Where before I would have been like just pulling teeth trying to write the freaking show notes, and I'd feel so stupid. I'm like, why? So like that sort of stuff, looking at your everyday workflows and getting curious about where could ChatGPT help me in the different steps is a great place to start. And then this is what I always love to recommend for people for discovering new ways to use ChatGPT or AI tools, right? So again, it can help you with so many things in your business, and instead of like trying to go down an AI rabbit hole, like not really knowing where it could help you or what to do, I always like to recommend that people just start working through their day-to-day of their business. And then anytime they hit a pressure point, a roadblock, something that stops you in your tracks and stops you from continuing down your productive path, then that's when you want to go to ChatGPT and be like, can ChatGPT help me with this? Like, get curious about it, right? Because it can help you with so many things. I mean, writing emails, responding to emails or social media comments. I love to use it for tech troubleshooting. Like my website, I was creating this sales page and I wanted to add a countdown timer, right? And I was like, I bet there's some sort of code I could use for this with my Squarespace website, but like, I don't know what it is. I don't want to go down a tech forum rabbit hole. I hate trying to find answers on tech forums. And so I went to ChatGPT and within 5 minutes, it gave me a code that I could add to my Squarespace website for a countdown timer. And I will say even too that like the first code that it threw my way wasn't really working. So I had to like troubleshoot back and forth with it a couple times, being like, this isn't really working. Why? And ChatGPT gave me some other answers. So like I worked with the tool, but I had the countdown timer within 5 minutes and it was awesome, you know? So the one thing I like to share too, when it comes to like kind of like starting to use AI in your day-to-day for writer's block and those pressure points, tech troubleshooting. Like when I first started using ChatGPT, I didn't remember to like go to the tool and be like, couldn't you help me? Right. Cause like I wasn't trained to do that for myself. Right. So what I did, I always laugh when I share this because it's super high tech. Okay. Get ready for it. On a sticky note, I wrote, can ChatGPT help me with this? And I stuck it next to my computer screen. And so then when I'd be like working along in my day to day and like hit writer's block, like, I don't know how to finish this caption, I'd like roll my eyes and I'd like see the sticky note, can ChatGPT help me with this? And I would be like, oh, can it? And so like I kind of trained myself to go to ChatGPT when I was like feeling stuck or when I needed help, and like it worked. And so now I'm used to doing that. And it's truly crazy just by getting curious, even if you don't think ChatGPT can help you with something, go and ask it, because it's likely that either it can or it can point you to something that like can help you solve the problem in like 5 minutes still, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
No, that's really good because it's so funny that you mentioned the transcripts, because I literally, and I think I just put it on Threads. I was like, why did anyone tell me that, you can put the transcripts in ChatGPT to have it write like all your copy for you? And that has been like one of my favorite like new ways of using ChatGPT to write like my show notes descriptions, my marketing emails, like all of those things. And even like my episodes captions for when I post my clips, like I have, the transcripts. So it's not like having to play this guessing game on what the episode is about. It's like, here is the full transcript of what we talked about. Like, write out the email, write out the caption, write out the show notes. Make sure you include places to insert like resources that we talked about. And that has been a game changer, because like when I say I was spending a lot of time like trying to figure out what to put in my show notes, or, all of the logistical things. And so even when you talk about like knocking those tedious tasks or those daunting tasks out in like, with a matter of seconds, like literally with a matter of seconds. But the good thing about it is that when I can only imagine, first of all, what my result will be now if I use the brand blueprint in the thread before I actually, write my, learn something new, right? And so I feel like it would be even better. I mean, I think over time, like my ChatGPT has definitely gotten a grasp of how I talk and, the things that I do. But imagine like if I were to input that prompt before I'm like, hey, write this, I won't have to worry about it again. But I really do love that. Like just finding like those tedious tasks that you do in your day-to-day business. Obviously, like even if it, needs help responding to emails. Sometimes like at the end of the day, when I'm checking my emails before I close my computer, I'm like, I have no brain capacity to even think about what I want to say. So I'm like, hey, help me respond to this. Like,
yeah. Or filling out forms. Okay. So like, if I'm applying to speak at a summit, if I'm applying for like a podcast interview. Okay. The other day I applied. Oh, I have to share this with you because I think it's hilarious. Okay. I'm like still in shock by this, but you'll hear it. the other day, a friend sent me this grant application kind of thing. So I've been doing a lot with like AI advocacy and like climate impact and AI safety and that sort of thing, kind of as like a side thing with authentic AI. And this grant was like for these people want to support digital creators who are talking about AI safety topics. And I was like, ooh, okay, my live panel discussion that I just did in February, I want to do a series of these talking about the bigger AI topics, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I'm like applying to this grant and my brain, I like know what I want to say, and like I know the idea behind our stuff. And I've talked with ChatGPT at length about this, right? But like I didn't know how to present it in this grant. And of course my imposter syndrome was coming up where I'm like, oh, do I sound professional enough or whatever, you know? So I literally had ChatGPT. Actually, I filled out the grant form first, and then I just screenshot my computer screen, the grant form questions and my responses, and it helped me tidy them up. And then this is where my brain was blown, because I don't know if you've ever struggled with imposter syndrome and pricing.
All the time.
Okay. Because, and women do in general often, you know, and like, so it got to the budget section of the grant thing, and I was like, I don't even know. Like, long story short, the content that I want to create is like ongoing live panel discussions with like 5 to 7 people, and then repurpose that content to all the different things. In my mind, I was like, I don't know, like 5,000 or something. And I asked ChatGPT, and it's like 18 grand, no question.
Period.
And I was like, you know that like feeling where like, wait a second. And then it walked me through it. And I was like, ChatGPT, I'm feeling imposter syndrome about this. Like, walk me through this. And it like listed out all the things. And like, and it got me thinking too about how ChatGPT really can help us with pricing, with mindset stuff, with like all the different things. Like, that's why I'm so also passionate about women using AI tools. Cause I'm like, not only do women deserve to use these tools, and not only are these tools user trained and need our feminine energy put into them, but also like it can help us with so many things that like we do kind of struggle with as women because of our culture and society, including like pricing, imposter syndrome. Someone replied to my story like, you know, men never, like a man would have immediately been like, yes, of course 18 grand. And I'm like, you're helping me step into my own ChatGPT.
Okay, real quick, if you've been showing up on socials and still not getting the results you want, I want you to listen up, because I'm offering free social media audits exclusively for my Side Hustler listeners. If you're not sure if your page is actually attracting the right clients, or if your content feels all over the place, or you just want to make sure that you're on the right track when it comes to building your brand, I got you. These audits are where I go in and I look at your page and I give you the personalized feedback on what's working, what needs to shift, and how to start creating content that actually converts. I'll also drop a few tips and strategies that most people aren't sharing, because I want to see you win. And the best part about it, it's free, my friend. So head over to cdcreativecoagency.com/audit and secure your audit today.
Yeah, no, and that's so funny that you even said that, because I remember when I was struggling to try to price a package that I had an idea of doing, and I was like, you know, low, I'm like, oh, I just want to be, you know, as accessible as possible. And then literally ChatGPT was like, yeah, I can sense that you will be burnt out from doing this package and overextending yourself, and, you know, you're not taking account of your capacity. And then it literally like broke down, like itemized, like
wow,
itemized, like actually this package costs like almost quadruple what you're trying to charge. And so we really need to take into account, like, do you have the capacity to operate at this? Like, how is this beautiful? Like, how is this beneficial to your business? Like, you know, your goals, all of the things. So I totally agree to that. And that's why, like, even when people say, oh, let me find out ChatGPT is your best friend. I'm like, of course it is, because it's like, I feel like it's like, you know, kind of validating me and my worth. Like, so many times, like you were saying, women, like, we just always like to play low, play it safe. And then when we do that, this is like off topic of ChatGPT, but when we do that, like it causes us to get burnt out so easily. We're not able to operate in our full potential. We're not able to actually do what we are set out and called to do because we're operating, on borrowed energy. We have no capacity, and then we are not compensated what we actually need to be compensated. But part of that is, us as women, like just like, oh, we want to help the world and we don't want to take people's money. But it's like, no, we need to take their money.
Okay, thank you so much. And this is why we vibe, girl. This is why we vibe. Okay, can I tell you real quick too? Like this ties into AI, and this is like how it does tie into AI for me at least, because like legit. Okay, so I interviewed this woman about a year ago now, actually. Her name's Nikki Sweeney, and she talks a lot about women in AI, the data bias and stuff like that. And she was telling me about this study that has been done. It's a year old now, so, it might be a little outdated at this point. But there was a study done that men are 2 times more likely to use the top 50 AI tools than women. And this is a huge problem because if you think about the gender income gap, that we're trying to decrease, well, if more men are using AI tools than women, getting more done with AI tools, it's actually been proven that you can boost your productivity by 40%, which is like working Crazy. 2 extra days per week. So like, if more men use it than women, well, who's more likely to get that pay raise? Who's more likely to get that promotion, right? So that's an issue. But then also, of course, most AI tools that are similar to ChatGPT are trained by the users. So when you use the tool, whatever you put into it is actually like can shape the future tools that are being put out there. Yeah. And if more men are using AI tools than women, well, then future AI tools are going to be more and more bro. And I'm like, no, guys, we need to give our feminine energy to these AI tools, right? So, but the reason I'm like fired up about this is the reason I brought it up, is because, okay, the reason more men use AI tools than women is, like there's the STEM subjects, like women aren't made to feel like welcome and science and math or feel as techie culturally, generally. But also, this is what blew my mind. I still remember the first time a woman was interviewing me for her podcast about AI topics. And she looked at me and she said, so what do you say to the women who feel guilty for using AI tools, who feel like they're cutting corners or they're not doing the work? And it honestly was like one of those moments where it's like, oh, this is a thing and this is so much bigger than AI. But, women have to work twice as hard for half the credit. We have to care about how we show up in society in order to be respected and show that we're worth the success and the respect that we receive. And so, of course, it makes sense that like women have this hang up for using AI tools because they feel like they might not like be respected for the work that they do, that we have to work so much harder already for, right?
Absolutely.
And so this is why I always love to bring it up when I talk to women entrepreneurs and share stories on women's podcasts and stuff, because I'm like, guys, okay, this is an internal shift that we all need to make ourselves first. And then we also need to spread the word about this because we need to be using AI tools for so many reasons. And if anything, women deserve to be using AI tools so much more than anyone in our society.
Yeah. For sure. Especially when you add on all of the other things that women are doing, raising families and doing all of the things. Like, we do not have enough time in the day. Okay.
Yep.
So that's exactly why we need those 2 days back so we can, lay out on the couch. Okay.
Exactly. And do you think men are feeling guilty for using AI tools? Oh, no.
That is so funny because I literally was having this conversation with my friend yesterday. I'm like, hey, I conquered my to-do list, but now I'm like, should I be doing something? And she's like, are you going manic? Like,
lay down, girl. Go sit on the couch.
Lay down. I'm like, I feel like I need to be doing something, and that's because I really have, and I can literally attest to you. I am not lying. Like, I have been so productive. Well, I always have a ChatGPT tab open. Sometimes it's just always open to where I'm like, I have to refresh it because my assistant has been putting in some work. But it's so amazing how much more productive I am by having AI in my business to, help me really, really like get things done when I don't have the time or the capacity to do so.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree.
Yes, lady, I did the math for how much time I've been saving, like realistically. And actually it's
Wow.
probably gotten even bigger than this because I did the math like months ago at this point. But on average, I've been saving 3 hours a day, 15 hours a week, and 70 hours a month using AI tools.
That is amazing.
And it's crazy because exactly, like I hear that, I'm like, what, really? But then I think about all the stuff I've actually been able to do. And then something else I like to bring up is in the past year, I've been doing more work more quickly. And I haven't felt the burnout or creative drain that I definitely have in the past. And I've also been able to shut my computer off at 4 p.m. normally instead of 5 p.m. on normal days, which is crazy for me. And then also kind of take the weekends off, like for real. And I'm like, okay, guys, like, let's get over, like, for whatever reason you're not using AI tools, let's get over it because, like, we, like, deserve to use these, guys.
For sure. So with that, Kinsey, I want to talk about, someone is listening and they're like feeling all of the feminine vibes. Okay. They're like, sis, I hear you. Like, let me tap into this. I am working too hard. Like, how can I start to work smarter and not harder? How can I reclaim time back in my business by utilizing ChatGPT? Where can I get started? How can I utilize this tool to make sure that, I'm not trying to stay on this hamster wheel for over time and months at a time? Where can they start, and what is one piece of advice that you would give them?
Yeah. Okay. If you are just getting started with these tools, I think the easiest one to start with is ChatGPT that we've been talking about. It's chatgpt.com. You open up a free account, and the free account is pretty awesome. Like, you don't need to upgrade anytime soon if you're just starting. And literally open up a new chat window. It's like AOL Messenger back in the day, just chatting back and forth. And like, you just say, hey, like you just introduce yourself as if you were introducing yourself to Carlissa, even on her podcast or something, or in the DMs, right? You say, hey, my name is so-and-so. This is what I do. And ask it, how can you help me? Believe me, it'll have a lot of ideas. And what after that initial step, I would say one of the first things you can do truly if you want to start using this for your business is create a brand blueprint or some sort of training system to train your AI assistant all about your brand, because that really saves you a lot of time and gets you like more authentic results from the get-go. And then just start getting curious about like, where possibly in my workflows could this help me? And like do the sticky note method to try to train yourself to save time, because legit, you save so much time by simply not wasting it, by not like banging your head against the keyboard, like pushing through that. And also your ChatGPT assistant like helps you stay motivated too. Like I found business to be more fun since using my AI assistant.
Yeah, for sure. That's amazing. And Kinsey, before you go, I want to give you a chance to tell the people where they can connect with you. Where can they grab your brand blueprint template so that they can start implementing it and using it with their ChatGPT? Where can they follow you and learn more about your services? All of the things.
Yay. Thank you so much. I have loved this conversation. It's been so much fun. Okay. You can connect with me. I hang out mostly on Instagram at Authentic AI for Entrepreneurs. It's a bright purple profile photo. You can't miss it. And then my website is DIY with .ai, so DIYWITH.ai. And that's where you can find all my goodies and resources. My blueprint is DIY with .ai/blueprint. And I actually have several fun goodies too. I have a free Reels prompt playbook for ChatGPT, so it helps you create your next reel in 5 minutes with ChatGPT's help. And it's like how I create my reels with ChatGPT. It's using fill in the blank prompts. I love it. And then I also have a brainstorm and journal workshop with ChatGPT that's free as well. And that I heard like Carlissa saying that's like one of the ways that you kind of use ChatGPT is like brain dumping. ideating. And that's truly one of the best ways you can use ChatGPT too. And so that workshop helps you get started with that process, because I know it can be kind of awkward to get started talking to a robot, but the workshop like forces you to do it with my help. So like that's a good place to start too.
That is so good. That is so good. I'm like, I love this little robot. Okay.
Me too, girl.
But that is, and honestly, I want everyone to follow Kinsey, because I remember when I first followed you, and you know how when you first follow someone, like all of their like most recent, and I'm seeing like all of these like ChatGPT memes probably. I'm like, this is hilarious. So just make sure you're following my girl Kinsey on Instagram, because she is such a light on your feed with all things ChatGPT. Well, thank you, my friend, for joining me. This has been absolutely amazing chatting with you about ChatGPT. I feel like I even learned so much, and I thought, I have been using ChatGPT to its fullest advantage, but I'm super excited to grab the blueprint for myself so I can really leverage it and make sure that I'm, capitalizing on as much time as I can. So thank you so much.
Thank you. This has been so fun, and I appreciate you, and I'm sending you all the love too. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Side Hustler Podcast. I hope you're leaving here today feeling inspired and ready to take your next step. If you love this episode, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another side hustler who needs to hear it. And don't forget to connect with us on Instagram at Carly Dorlin. I'd love to hear about your side hustling journey. Remember, you're doing better than you think, and your dreams are so worth it. Until next time, keep hustling, sis. You got this.